Blazer fans. Welcome back to this week's edition of the Blazer Insider. I'm Mark Ingram. I'm the Director of Athletics, and I'm fortunate today to be joined by Courtnay Foster, our assistant softball coach, and Mark Tjia, our head coach for women's tennis. How you guys doing? It's good to see you.
Great. Good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I'm interested, if you would, let's talk a little bit about, the last 3 months. Coach Tjia, I'll start with you. Talk a little bit about, what you've been doing to keep our women's tennis team engaged and focused on training and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's that's definitely a challenge. My team is a lot of internationals this past year, so they're really all over the world. And with the time change, it hasn't been easy. It's a task trying to find a time when anybody can do it. But we've been holding meetings. We've been talking a lot just about gratitude. We do a lot of gratitude in the beginning, what everybody's up to, how they're able to train. Some people are able to get to courts in their countries, other people haven't been. I had them watch The Last Dance, and when everybody's done with that, we're going to sit down and discuss that because I thought that was an excellent documentary with a lot of learning opportunities there. And then we just now got some of our incoming freshmen that have graduated, and now they're able to sit in on some of these meetings. So we're going to start scheduling one next week where we have our new players coming in. So we're really looking forward to that. And we'll be doing some team bonding things because we want to use this time to try to shorten the familiarity time with new teammates and try to make the most of the time that we can.
Well, you raise an interesting question, which is, so I'm curious, what time of day are you doing your Zoom calls and things with your teams, given that you've got people on the other side of the ocean?
Yeah, it's like 12 p.m. or 1, because we have one girl in Belgium who's working. So it has to be when she's done with work, and they're usually about 6 to 8 hours ahead of us. So, around 12 or 1.
Yeah, in the afternoon?
Yes.
To accommodate for her at night, I got it. So, Courtnay, how about you? What have you been doing? We had Jimmy on a few weeks ago. Talk a little bit about what you guys have been doing creatively to keep the softball team engaged.
Yeah, so we set up a series of softball IQ quizzes, and I think when Jimmy was on, it was really early in that process. So we had 6 of them total. The leaderboard fluctuated a lot, went up and down. We did a little celebration in the middle of it, kind of to keep them motivated. And then this past week, I actually made a video to kind of celebrate the winners and highlight their accomplishments, and we put that up online. So that was a pretty cool little project. I spent entirely too much time on PowerPoint, so I'm glad that that's in the rear view. But we've also been getting our newcomers on board. We did our first meeting with the 2020-2021 group last week. That went really well. We just kind of talked to them about what our core values are and started to get them integrated with that, and had a little bit of a discussion about all of the things that are going on right now, the climate of the country, and trying to guide them a little bit and how to navigate that. So we've been in pretty close contact, and then reaching out to them individually has been another thing that's been important, and I think that they feel connected to each other and to us when we kind of do it both ways.
Yeah, so your team, softball and women's tennis, you're scheduled both to come back, I don't know, it seems like mid to late August before classes start. So is there anything, Courtnay, that from a training perspective that our team will be doing from now until then? So you've got a couple of months, let's call it. Anything specific you've had them doing?
So our strength and conditioning coach, Morgan Vetter, she's super awesome. She's really accessible. She gets them the information right away, and she's put together a awesome training program for them for the rest of the summer. We also, as coaches, individually give each player a player development plan, and basically that's a guide for these are the things that you did well throughout the season, these are the things that need to improve, these are the things that you can do to set yourself on that path. And it's a really good way that you can go back every week and say, these are the to-do items that I had on my list. I feel like I'm getting there, or I feel like I need help, and a way for us to check in with them too in that way. So they've kind of got the 2-pronged plan until we're able to get everybody back on campus together.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And what about you, Coach Tjia? Is there anything from a training standpoint that you've got the team working on specifically?
Well, tennis being an individual sport, everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses and things that they need to work on. Blake Klotz, our strength coach, he has given them a gym workout that I know they're doing. Our girls are really diligent and hungry about doing that. And then Pardis, Kianush, my assistant, and myself, we've also given them tennis workouts, on-court conditioning, and they alternate between her workout and mine. And then hopefully we can get them. Some of these girls are trying to come back a little bit early. Maybe it just depends on how this all plays out, to where they can get on the court with me and get some good work in. But other than that, they're training in their places what they can and trying to play as many tournaments as they can, which I think is really the most important thing.
Yeah, and I would imagine in Europe they're probably hosting some of those tournaments. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's different in every place, but they do have a lot of clubs in Europe, and they do have a lot of small and team tennis type things where they play for their club. And so usually the girls will get involved a little bit with that.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. All right, so I can tell you that in the last couple of months, I've done more yard projects than I have in the last 5 years. So tell me, I'm curious, Coach Tjia, what have you done around the house that's different? How many chores have you checked off your list?
Oh, boy, I've had a huge honeydew list, especially when it first started and the girls were in exams who couldn't really do anything at all and no recruiting. So yeah, I sanded and restained my deck. I sanded and restained my wood fence. And then I had a leak on a roof that I'd been just ignoring for a long time. So I had to get up there and patch that and do some work, which I was a little bit scared because I had this giant hole in my roof and I wasn't sure if I was in over my head, but I figured it out.
You made it work.
I
Good
made
job.
it work. Yeah.
Good job. All right, Courtnay, what about you? Tell me something you've done that you didn't think you'd be able to have
Yeah,
time to do.
especially this time of year for us. This sounds kind of weird, but we didn't have numbers on the front of our house, just on our mailbox. So we got those up. A lot of little things like, putting new caulk in the bathrooms and stuff like that. We've introduced ourselves to the family of bunnies that lives in our backyard because they climb up on our deck and eat our strawberry plant. So that's been a little bit of a nuisance. Put up some hummingbird feeders. My car has been cleaner in the last few weeks than it ever has before. So definitely getting some stuff done.
I'm excited about the fact you've got a strawberry plant.
Yeah, it's awesome. The first couple weeks we had it, we got a few strawberries off of it, and then the bunnies started coming. So I have to rig up some kind of contraption to keep them out.
Yeah, I had an uncle with a strawberry farm, and did you plant those strawberries or did you inherit those strawberries?
I actually, Joe's dad gave us the first plant. And so I think we're going to get a few more. So
Smart.
Sort of both. Yeah.
That's smart. So I want to ask you this. So now, Mark, you've got people coming in from all over the world. Do you find that as you talk to your students about how they'll come back, is anybody nervous about the protocol? Have you talked about that, or have you even gotten to that yet?
Yeah, no, we have talked about it, about how different it's going to look, but we just grateful to do whatever we can if we can get there. And it's different. Yeah, they're not really concerned. They're not concerned so much about once they get here. I think there is some uncertainty whether they will even be able to fly in some of those countries. And so, we'll worry about that when the time comes. Yeah. But in the meantime, I've told them, just make sure your flights are changeable, in case you have to come back earlier for quarantine or whatever. So,
And now's the time to get the flight insurance for sure.
Yeah, that's
What
right.
about you, Coach Foster? Have you found anybody that's concerned about, the return and how they'll do it?
Yeah, we've talked to a lot of our returners and certainly the newcomers too. And I think that the biggest concern is sort of what happens when someone tests positive and what the landscape is going to look like. How are we going to navigate that? And I think Mark's message of gratitude is really a good one. And it's something that we've been talking a lot about too. You know, we have this opportunity and not a lot of people do, and we're really, really fortunate. And it's important that we, you know, kind of be the model and the beacon for the communities because, you know, we are so visible. So taking those moments where there's a lot of uncertainty and there's a lot of sort of fear, you know, fear that you're going to get shut down again, or fear that, you know, you're going to, you know, your teammates are going to get sick, or whatever it is. There's lots of things going on, and managing that in a way that we can hopefully be grateful for the opportunities and models for our communities.
Yeah, no doubt. I know that you guys were in El Paso when you got the news that you had to turn around. As soon as you got off the plane, you had to turn around and come back the next day. And so I know that was really, really hard for both of your teams, but in particular, softball, who was over 1,000 miles away, which is not an easy round trip. So I can appreciate where they're coming from. You know, the good news is our trainers and our doctors have put such a good plan together for anybody that might test positive. And we've been putting those plans together, and now we work the plan. So we've got great protocols in place as they come back. And then if somebody does test positive, we've got a plan for what we do there, and a place to quarantine and isolate and all that sort of thing. So I feel like we're in a good place there, but I can imagine that the students themselves, you know, they probably hear so many different things at home and have so many questions that, you know, you got to manage all that, right? You got all those people, again, from all over the place with various types of questions and curiosities. I can imagine that stuff.
For sure. And, you know, there's people from different states and different cultures and all those kinds of things. And that's the biggest message, you know, control what you can control. We're going to take care of you. We're going to do everything we can to keep you safe and get you on the field. And, you know, you just got to stay the course and we'll get there.
Yeah, that's a great message and exactly right. All right, so Coach Tjia, you said that you have had your team watch The Last Dance.
Yes.
I want you both to tell the truth. Show of hands. Who has watched The Tiger King?
Does it, I mean, like one episode, do I have to raise my hand for that?
You gotta raise it small. You don't have to raise it high. You have to just do like this. All right, what else other than The Last Dance have you seen? Coach Foster, tell me what you and Joe have watched.
We watched Ken Burns' documentary on the Civil War.
Okay.
Several other documentaries. We watched Ozark. That was a big fun one for us. What else? I watched this super weird documentary about flat earthers last night. I'm getting to that point in the Netflix.
What?
Flat earthers.
Flat earthers?
Yeah, just totally bizarre. So yeah, I'm getting real far down on the list at this point.
That's funny. We just started watching Outer Banks, so we just started that yesterday. How about you, Mark? What else?
Well, I saw Ozarks too, and I saw some documentaries, The Keepers. I like the crime stuff. Killing Eve was a great one, and right now we're on Hannah.
Yeah, you know, I'm hoping that we'll all have a lot less time on our hands to sit around like this and think of television shows to watch. But in the meantime, it's been nice to have something distract us a little bit, hasn't it?
Yes, I mean, we watch. Just so you know, I'm not watching during the day. It's the evening, and since there's no sports at all, so now it's watching Hulu and Netflix.
Yeah, you know, and I got to tell you though, at the beginning of quarantine, I really almost worried that I would watch a lot of television because I would just be, you know, maybe bored or sitting around. But oddly, I feel like I've watched less.
Yeah.
There have been many days where the television didn't come on at all, and but I think part of that is the weather has been nice.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, we've had really great weather over the last 3 months. I mean, we've had some rain and we've had a couple of pretty bad storms, but all in all, it's been really sunny and pretty here, and it's made it possible to be outside and do things. And like I said, my wife's had me planting flowers and bushes and things, and we've never been able to do that while being on a conference call and out in the yard planting a flower. So I guess there's some good in that.
Well, you're right. The weather is not too hot either, so we go for walks every day, long walks. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the days go really fast. You would think that they're going to go slow because you're not quite as busy, but I feel like the days are flying by. I can't believe we're already in June right now.
I know it's hard to believe, but it's nice that we've got some student athletes returning, and we're starting to get back, and we've started bringing our staff back, which has been terrific and been good to see everybody again. Even if we've been wearing our masks, you know, we gave everybody one of these masks, and we've got 2 for all of our student athletes as well. So it'll be funny to see everyone from the eyes up, but I'll take it. At this point, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining me. I really look forward to seeing you again soon, and appreciate you giving us the time. Let me ask you this before we go here. Any parting thoughts for our fans? Any last words? I'll start with you, Coach Foster. Anything you want to share with our fan base?
Be on the lookout for some cool things that we're going to be doing in the next few weeks. We're assigning our team to make boost videos. So basically 1 minute of getting everybody fired up to come back. I think not having sports, there's going to be an inherent, you know, sort of fire in everybody already. But I think that'll be our next cool project that we do. And we just hope you guys are excited to get back out there as we are.
How about you, Coach Tjia?
Yeah, well, I would say the same thing. I'd say, you know, now I think we all could be a little bit more grateful when sports comes back, and hope that you come out there and support Coach Clark and Coach Kennedy and Courtney's teams. And as far as tennis goes, you know, we're going to hold our matches on campus this year. And I've spent a lot of this dead time actually looking how we can get more involved and find more of the tennis community around Birmingham involved with our sport, because a lot of people play tennis, but I don't know if they realize how good and how entertaining those matches can be here. So
yeah, it's a ton of fun. For anybody that hasn't watched a college tennis match, you're really missing out. And you don't even have to know a whole lot about tennis to have a good time and really enjoy it. It's always fun to watch really high level athletes compete, and your team is terrific and a lot of fun. So I'm glad you said that. And, you know, for all the fans, I'll say again that we still plan on playing all of our fall sports on time as scheduled. Our student athletes are starting to return. And so if you haven't gotten your season tickets yet, now's the time to do it. And we'll look forward to taking good care of you. And we won't be returning anybody that does it in a way that isn't safe, whether that's our student athletes, our staff, or our fans. So we'll be sure to make sure everyone understands the best way to do that as we get closer to the season. So looking forward to seeing all of our fans back out at Legion Field and at Bartow Arena and on all of our campus facilities starting this fall. So thanks again for everybody, and really appreciate all of our frontline workers, our doctors, our nurses that are doing things to keep us healthy and safe every day. So appreciate everybody and look forward to seeing you soon. Go Blazers.
go Blazers.
Go Blazers.